Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome back to the March of the Writers. We're keeping it real. We're keeping it intimate right here, directly in the video. So, today we're going to be talking about an uncomfortable subject. We're going to be talking about failures. Failures happen to humans and to writers and to everyone. The good thing is that many of my failures have led to successes. I wrote a short story that I didn't like, and then I changed the POV and I changed a couple of things, and I turned that initial failure into success that I'm really happy with. To give you one example, for Only Human, I wrote everything by hand and then eventually transcribed everything, and that took me like to transcribe and edit Only Human. It took me like a year. That was a failure, but it was more of a learning experience. No, this is talking about proper failures. It's gonna take the glasses off. Proper failures. Where you go like, so what's a failure? It's the same as success. You define it as you see it fit. What I would see as a failure, some people might not see it as a failure, or they might see it as a catastrophe. What I might not see as a success, other people might think it's something amazing. And for me, it's like, and other things that are really important to me, other people might go, It is what it is. So, failures, proper failures. So, I'm going to go with project, I'm going to go with event, and I'm going to go with connections, just to explore different things. So, project. There is a project that, it's called Blank Comics, and it's Raining Dead, Tricks and Ladders, 2 titles. So that you understand, Tricks and Ladders deals with an angel and a magician who have a semi-private detective agency, and they solve unsolvable crimes. Sounds pretty fun. Raining Dead. It's about a samurai, a vampire, and a Native American, and they're the reason why the zombie apocalypse didn't take hold in the 19th century. It's not full-on historical. It kind of takes elements, and I do my own thing and my own spin. I'm not looking for accuracy. I'm looking for entertainment with that one. But Blank Comics. What's Blank Comics? This is my tribute to my grandmother. Who was a beautiful woman with the silkiest, softest, gentlest hands that I've ever experienced in my life. And it's just something that will always stay with me. She had advanced glaucoma. That means that she was 90 to 95% blind. She would only be able to see like silhouettes or blurriers and stuff like that. But she could tell a story with a high level of detail from way back when she did have eyesight. That always stuck with me, and rather than do a character as a tribute to that, which I will eventually do a character as a tribute to her, I did this. And this, why is it a blank comic? Because as the storyteller, I might give you the panels, the dialogue, the action, and tell you what's supposed to go in the panels, but there's no drawings because as a storyteller, I'm blind. This is threefold purpose. Purpose 1. A couple years back in the Puerto Rico Comic-Con, they were doing a talent scouting. About 200 plus people applied. They selected 2. A lot of people were dejected. I was like, no, come on, you can do it. Trying to motivate people, and there was a lot of people that were crestfallen. That kind of stuck in my ribs, and I was like, okay. So if you see the cover of this, it says J.D. Estrada, and because I want to offer people something that they can put in their portfolio, like, look what I wrote. And if I know people enjoy my books, but in the large scheme of things, I'm a nobody. And it's not to get more notoriety, but if it can give him some weight to get a job, like a designing job or something, have at it. Just say that you collaborated with an author or something. I don't care. What I want is people to be inspired, and not all artists or storytellers or writers. Their craft is the visual, and I wanted to offer a couple of options of stuff that they can do. So that's purpose 1. Purpose 2 is to promote empathy and the tolerance of different points of view. So if I tell you to draw a car and I tell 5 other people to draw a car, you all draw a car, and I give you just enough information, you're going to get 5 different cars. So who's right? Everyone is. And it's in part to motivate that. It's a project that I'm very fond of, but I've never seen a full blank comic. I've only seen one full episode drawn by a good friend of mine, but I've never seen an entire blank comic drawn, and that, to me, that's a failure, because I think that I'm failing this project. I will take the 2 narratives and probably flesh it out into stories, but it is what it is. If you didn't have an idea, this is going to be a long video. Long by Instagram standards. It's not going to be an hour. Bear with me. Second failure, the Atlanta Comic-Con. 2019, I had, until that point, my best show, and I sold 119 books, something like that, and I was like, yeah, I wasn't elevated and wasn't thinking I was gonna smash the Atlanta Comic-Con. I was just like, let's just break even. Let's just earn back the booth. And I didn't. It was a bust of an event, and I didn't get the sales that I expected or even needed, and I lost money. And when you're indie, it's all on you. And something that I did or didn't do just didn't click. Plus, there was a lot of competition. Plus, it's not the event that is gonna most support different creatives. I wasn't the only one who had a bust, but I saw some people make a lot of money and be very successful in terms of selling. It is what it is. I tried different things, and I did have a little panic moment where I was just trying different things, just anything that would work. And then eventually I was like, you just have to take this as a lesson. And I did. That's failure number 2. Failure number 3, get someone with a big audience to offer support. I've had some wonderful people from Canada, from Denmark, and from other places in Europe ask me to sell them a book so that I could send it to a very popular booktuber or stuff like that. It's happened 3 or 4 occasions. And yeah, the book arrived and the person held up my book, but they didn't read it, they didn't review it, they didn't care. And it is what it is. I've never had some really high profile person go like, oh man, I read this, you should check this out. And that could be perceived as a failure, but I wanted to finish with that one because I want to do the flip side. So the failure is that I haven't had a really high profile person read me. But the people that have read me, people who are genuinely interested, that have no interest in, they just want to read and support and enjoy. It's people like me, people like you. People that for some reason they saw something that I said or saw a book cover and they gave me the time of day and they read me and they reviewed me. I don't pay for ads. I don't pay for reviews, so stop offering. So all of the success and all of the people that have read me is because for one reason or another, they wanted to read me. It's not because someone gifted blah blah blah. It's not because it's a favor. Not because of anything of that. It's because people really cared, and people have been really caring for a long time. And that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me that 10 years into writing, there are people who not only still care but care more, and they go like, man, when are you going to finish X or Y project? People that have been kind enough to read me across genres. That's amazing. People of all ages, from 9-year-olds to 70-year-old people. I don't know if anyone over the age of 80 has read me. I would love that, but I'm not sure if I have any reader over the age of 80. But I do know that I've had a couple of 70-year-olds that have read me and enjoyed me, and I super appreciate it. Just because some people say that you should focus on one genre, and I know that it could be an easier trek, but that's not who I am, who or how I am, and I'm not going to start now. So, there's that. I mentioned the Atlanta Comic-Con, and it was a bust in terms of sales, but three important things. One, I wasn't having a great show sales wise, etc. I was having a conversation with someone that was gonna buy a book, and suddenly she realized that, where's my daughter? And I'm like, what was your daughter wearing? And she mentioned something. I'm like, I kind of have an idea that I saw over here. Please wait here so that we're not playing tag or something. I went and I found her daughter and I took her to the booth. She had seen someone in a cosplay, and I was able to get her back to her mom. I think I was able to sell her a book, but that's immaterial. I was able to find her daughter and give her some peace of mind. And for me, that was a huge win. Second off, in an event where I was an absolute nobody and people was like, who's that guy? Someone actually went to the show because they wanted to read me. Someone from Atlanta heard about me, I don't know where, and I don't care. Because I was one of the reasons for them to go to a show in Atlanta. In an event where I didn't bang it out. Yeah. So it is what it is, in terms of sales, but in terms of having someone that actually went to an event because of me, it's pretty cool. And being able to help someone out, that's always going to be a good thing. And lastly, Blank Comics. Just because that project hasn't taken off doesn't mean that it's a failure. It means that it hasn't reached the right people. It means I haven't tweaked it right. And it's an invitation to keep reinventing and adjusting and thinking beyond the original thinking. Yeah, the original idea is good. How can we make it better? How can we make it more accessible? How can we make it get into a classroom, not just physically, but in other ways for that, so that students can learn to be more tolerant of points of view, and hone their artistic skills. So from every failure, you can find a victory, you can find a lesson, or you can find a challenge. That's my invitation to you. Sometimes some days suck. Sometimes you lose money. But you can always learn and you can always get something out of an experience. So, long ass video, yeah. This ended up being a long one, but I hope you get something from this. And tell me, what are some of your failures, or what do you think about my failures and how I try to flip it to give it a good positive spin? Let me know.